Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday morning to you. Well, today we're going to talk about some NFL because there's nothing wrong with ever talking about the NFL, right? And we're going to talk about a little baseball because the Major League Baseball trade deadline is coming up Wednesday afternoon. So we got to break down all the things that have happened so far and everything that's potentially going to happen going forward into tomorrow. And a couple little news and notes, little interesting things. U.S. Soccer Federation's taking a stand against the women's national team. I mean, I guess we should have seen that coming, but sometimes you just got to take an L. But we'll get into that. And a couple other quick news and notes. So that's what we got on tap here for the Dave Talk Sports podcast, episode number 29. I'm your host, Dave Ettinger. As you can see, I am pumped. I'm excited. I'm ready to get it going. Because who doesn't love talking sports at 6:13 in the morning? Right? So let's start with the baseball. Then we'll dive into the football. We talked about Marcus Stroman yesterday. He was traded from the Blue Jays to the Mets, surprisingly. I'm not sure exactly what the Mets are doing. Upon looking into the deal a little bit closer, they get some money. They give up these two pitching prospects. You know, again, I talked about them. It's an 18-year-old and a 24-year-old that have reached high A ball and AAA. Neither of which pitching that great. Now, while they're top 10 prospects in the Mets organization, they're not great prospects overall. But again, it's about a culture. It's about an identity. It's about an overall direction that your organization is going. And I think it's very similar to the Knicks. Now, I've been a Knicks fan my whole life. I've seen them go to 2 NBA finals in 1994 and 1999. And I'm not a Mets fan, but I've seen them go to, and I was born in 86 when they won the World Series, but I've seen them go to the World Series in 2000 and 2015. You know, 2015 is a lot more recent, but it's very similar to the Knicks situation in that they're in New York. They should be better than they are. They should be, I mean, they still stay relevant, but they should be better than they are. And it's that culture that I felt like the Knicks were kind of living by, in that we're always giving away prospects. We're always trading away picks. We're always working towards the present, trying to win now, which is great when your team is built to win now. So the Mets are the Knicks, really. They're not ready to win. You could say the Mets are better than the Knicks talent-wise. That's fine. You always get a couple adventures, escapades from the road. So this is the part where a truck runs over 3 orange cones set up along the side of the road and then decides to hop half of the sidewalk. And that guy looked exactly like Todd Bowles. I doubt it was Todd Bowles, but he looks just like him. Just have a truck on the sidewalk. I guess that's what we're doing here this morning. But anyway, you can find me on Twitter at DaveEttinger2. You can please subscribe and leave some comments here on my Dave Talk Sports YouTube channel. And you can find me on Facebook and on my website, both named Dave Talk Sports. So that's where you can find me. Every morning I usually post the most interesting, funny, exciting video of the day. And we'll see what that video has in store for us today. We haven't found it yet, but we will. So I'm talking about culture. I'm talking about direction. I'm talking about identity. The Mets have this treading water type identity, stuck in Major League Baseball purgatory. And the Knicks did this for years. The Knicks snuck into the playoffs, lost in the first round, missed the playoffs a couple times, missed by 1 game a couple years ago. But they're still relevant. They still make money because they're in New York, but they're just not as good as they should be. And I'm sorry, that's the Mets. So you could say Marcus Stroman's been very good. You look at his ERA, that's great. But number one, he's a ground ball pitcher. Now going to be pitching in front of a team who's pretty poor defensively, especially in the infield. So ground ball pitcher plus bad defensive infield, kind of oil and water. That doesn't mix that well. Now Marcus Stroman is under contract for a year and a half. So what are they doing? And so we'll see what happens Wednesday if they trade Zach Wheeler, what happens with Noah Syndergaard, if they trade off some other pieces. It's just odd that if you realize that you can't make the playoffs this year and Stroman's only under contract for next year, you going for it all next year? I don't think that's the right move either. In a minute, you're going to end up with absolutely no prospects and no ability to rebuild outside of spending money, which the Wilpons have showed they don't want to do. So my take hasn't really changed on the Mets trade. The one thing I will say, I realized that they didn't really give up that much. If you just look at the value of the trade directly, they didn't give up that much. So that part's fine. But it's a confusing trade still, and it's the idea of trading away prospects, emptying out your farm system the same way they did to get Robinson Cano and Edwin Diaz, and those are two prospects that are kind of killing it right now. So, you win some, you lose some with these 18, 19, 20-year-old prospects. It's hard to know what they're going to amount to, and most of them amount to nothing. But it's the idea of constantly giving away picks and, prospects and things like that. So, enough on the Mets. We'll see what they do, come the end of the deadline here tomorrow afternoon. Until then, we just wait to see what kind of move the Yankees make. And they will be making some sort of move. I have absolutely no idea what it's going to be. With that, we got one more little piece of... I thought there's some little bits of news and notes in today's podcast. One more from the baseball world. Bo Bichette. Remember Dante Bichette, Major League Baseball player. Bo Bichette is his son, and he is just added to the Blue Jay roster that is seemingly filled with the son of, every former Major League Baseball star. You have Vlad Guerrero Jr., you have Craig Biggio's son, and you have now Bo Bichette. Bo Bichette got a hit in his first at-bat in Major League Baseball in his debut. And it was, it was a grounder pulled, in between the shortstop and the third baseman, and kind of kicked off the third baseman's glove, but it was a hard hit ball, not ruled an error, ruled a hit, so that's his first hit of his career. And just a little note there, you saw, Bichette there in the crowd, the rest of his family, looked like his mom was there as well. Just really excited for Bo, and I think it's awesome. Bo Bichette, I think, is going to be a very good Major League Baseball player, but currently looks like he's 12 years old. Get the guy a beard. Get the guy something. He looks like he's 12. I'm not making fun of him. He just looks like he's 12. So like I said, little news, little notes. Now to the gridiron. Football. It's coming. It's coming. You're getting... all these games are coming. Preseason's coming. Regular season's coming. It's all on its way. But as we talked about major holdouts, people want to get paid. They want their money. Ezekiel Elliott has become a big part of the story. Ezekiel Elliott wants to get paid. All right, he wants to make more than the $4 or $5 million he's going to make this year. It might be $6 million, and the $9 million he's set to make next year. And while he's still under this contract, running backs don't always get to their second contract, and that's where you really make your money. That Todd Gurley type deal where you're getting $30+ million guaranteed, that's the deal that all these running backs are looking for. That's why Melvin Gordon is not showing up to camp. That's why Ezekiel Elliott is not showing up to camp. Now again, Elliott is a better overall player than Melvin Gordon. He's very important to the Cowboys team because they don't have a Phillip Rivers. They have a Dak Prescott, who, I'm really sorry, Dak and Cowboy Nation and America's team, Dak Prescott sucks. But they go to the playoffs and he wins football games. look closer, pay more attention to what I'm saying. You can read my lips and listen to me at the same time. Dak Prescott sucks. All right? Not compared to me, not compared to you, not compared to the worst quarterback in the league, because he's not that. He's a bottom half of the league quarterback who can't throw the ball past 10 yards down the field with any efficiency at all, and he can't carry a team. You saw when Ezekiel Elliott was out, they become very limited. And as good as Amari Cooper and he played last year when he was traded there, Amari Cooper is not a top 10 or 15 receiver in the league. You're going to see a very average number 2 type receiver from Amari Cooper. He just happens to be their number 1. And without Zeke, they bring Alfred Morris back. Stop. That's not the answer. I get that you got to do something. If Zeke's really willing to hold out for the whole year, you got to bring somebody in. So I don't begrudge them for doing it. It's half a move. I mean, this guy, Alfred Morris, there's a reason why he was available to be signed here on yesterday on July 29th. So, question is Zeke willing to do, or is Melvin Gordon willing to do what Le'Veon Bell did last year? Cost himself more than a handful, $5-6 million to ultimately, potentially, get what they really want. A long-term contract with guaranteed money and security. That's what they're looking for. The problem is, as good and as talented as they are, the running back position is just not that important. It's just not. I mean, even Phillip Rivers, who should be supporting his running back, a fellow player, a brother, they're part of the brotherhood of the NFL. It's the one league where the contracts aren't fully guaranteed, where the players really need to band together. In the Players Association, you'd think Phillip Rivers would say, I want Gordon back. He's great. He's part of our squad. I really hope he gets what he deserves and his money and his this and his that. Instead, he said, we got a pretty deep backfield here, and as much as we like Melvin, we're going to move on with who we have now, and I can only worry about the guys who are here. This doesn't help Melvin Gordon at all, and I'm a little bit surprised that Phillip Rivers did that. Only I guess I shouldn't be surprised, because Phillip Rivers is a me guy. So there's that. So the question is Zeke going to show up? What are the Cowboys going to look like? I'm telling you right now, I don't know if you'll hear it here first, but the Cowboys don't make the playoffs if Zeke doesn't play this year. No chance, no shot. Just doesn't happen. So, good for you, Alfred Morris. You're going to get you're going to make some more NFL money. I'm happy for you, and we'll watch you score a couple touchdowns and, swing the bat and hit it out of the park. But you're not that good either. So, Cowboys, as much as you don't want to or need to pay a running back, I think you got to bite the bullet and find some compromise where you can pay the man, because without Zeke, as presently constructed, asking Dak to be the guy to throw the ball down the field at a moment's notice, that team doesn't make the playoffs. I'm sorry. That team is not above 500 team who makes the playoffs. They're just not. Now, to the other kind of football, to soccer. I'm surprised that U.S. soccer is taking a stance. All right, surprised and not surprised at the same time. Am I allowed to be that? It's a bag of mixed emotions, I guess. I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised that they're taking a hard stance against the women's national team, who, they're suing U.S. soccer for equal pay, as they deserve to be paid equal to the men. Now, U.S. soccer is saying, well, hold on a second. They're saying that the women actually already got paid more than the men. So what's the problem here? Well, the problem here is that money doesn't include FIFA money, World Cup money, bonuses, World Cup bonuses, things like this. When you add those things up, then the men made millions more than the women. So, and that breakdown of the per game salary in international play still favors the men. So, what are we doing here? That's the question. I mean, again, it doesn't surprise me because they're trying to win a lawsuit, but it surprises me because the numbers are what they are. The money and the finances, I mean, yes, some people can hide finances, but the money is what it is. The proof is out there in the universe to be seen. You know, unless we're hiding tax returns and hiding financial paperwork, what are we doing? The money is there. The numbers are there. All the salaries are there. The proof is there. Like who and what are you arguing with? I just don't get it. And we'll see how it plays out. I don't know, man. I don't think that this stance is smart. I think you need to learn how to just take an L sometimes. Realize that what you're doing is not right, and maybe you'll actually benefit yourself more in the long run by just doing the right thing. You know, sometimes and this goes for people, this goes for organizations and businesses, sometimes you either have to spend money now to save more money in the future on machinery, equipment, repairs if it's a business you're talking about, or to make more money in the future. So you could gain more fans and viewership by not dividing and trying to conquer and taking a really hard stance here. Instead, you should maybe say, you know what, you're right. The women will always get paid exactly the same as the men, and if they do better, they'll get paid better. If they bring in more revenue, they'll get paid more. And I guarantee you they'll make more money in viewership and fans and all the other ways that they bring in money if they take that stance instead. Because when you divide and conquer, you cut your income in half potentially. If you're trying to segregate and isolate and discriminate against men or women or whatever it may be, you're actually cutting off your nose to spite your face. Many, many cliches happening here today, but it's here's another one. It kind of is what it is. So I'm a little surprised. Again, not surprised, but surprised. So just don't think it's smart. So I think U.S. soccer should smarten up. They should drink some intelligent Kool-Aid this morning, and hopefully that will help them in the future. So like I said, biggest story of the day and heading into tomorrow, the Major League Baseball trade deadline. The Mets can't be done. If they are, I'm highly confused. What will the Yankees do? They haven't budged yet. And what are all the other teams around Major League Baseball going to do? We're going to have a huge recap of that come Thursday morning when the trade deadline has come and gone. But until tomorrow, I'm Dave Ettinger, the host of the Dave Talk Sports podcast. I work at CBS Sports Radio Network, and you join me on my ride home every single morning. This has been episode number 29. Again, you can find me on Twitter at Dave Ettinger2, on this YouTube channel where you'd love to subscribe and leave comments below the video, also named Dave Talk Sports, and my website and Facebook page. Again, what else will we call it? We call it Dave Talk Sports. So, thank you so much for listening, and enjoy your sunny Tuesday. See ya.